Hi there everybody, Dave here from Hey You Guys, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Scott Davis, and we are going to be talking about a brilliant film, a very vibrant film called Valley Girl. As always, if you don't already, please do like and subscribe using the which way around it? There, I got it right that time. Look in the subscribe button down in the bottom there, and do let us know in the comments what you think of this movie when you've seen it. We're still loving our COVID lockdown, and we're still churning out the reviews. So this one's really fun. So Scott, do you want to just tell us a bit about Valley Girl, what it is, and sort of the where it's come from and all that jazz?
I can. Yes. We are enjoying these, aren't we? It's good. They're good fun. There are the Valley Girls. So above me here, the magic of
there they are.
The pictures there are the leads. So this is a remake of a 1983 film. The original, the boy character, as you can see there, played by Josh Whitehouse, was actually played by Nicolas Cage in his formative years. There he is, Nicolas Cage, and the lady's name is Deborah Foreman. But look at that hair. Goodness
pretty
me.
Cool, isn't it?
Doesn't have much of that anymore, does he? Goodness me. So the plot for this one, both the original and the remake are loosely based on Romeo and Juliet, and it stars Jessica Rothe, who you might know from the Happy Death Day series and from La La Land. She plays a Valley Girl, and she has a boyfriend, and she seems to have it all. She has good grades. She has a great relationship with her friends. They go shopping and do all the things that 80s kids do. But at a party one night, she meets a guy called Randy, who's a bit more of a sort of punky, edgy guy that's very much not from her world, as Romeo and Juliet is, of course. And they fall for each other, and they start to have a relationship that's very up and down. You never really quite know if the relationship will last a distance. But the difference between this one and the original is that this is a musical. The original is not a musical from 1983.
The most awesome love story ever told.
Love story ever. That's also a musical.
Yeah.
That sounds like Mike from Monsters Inc. It's a musical. But it is a musical with lots of. I don't think there's any original songs in it. I think it's all 80s covers. That they use to, as with most musicals, to express their feelings. So there's a sequence where they sing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" while they're doing girl things. The kind of the basis of the story surrounds Alicia Silverstone, who's the older version of Jessica Rothe's character. She's telling the love story to her daughter. There they are. So that's the wraparound story. That's what I meant to say. And she's kind of divulging her first kind of major love, if you like, to her daughter. And she's telling it, and they make a joke of the fact that she's telling it in musical, and her daughter's like, "Were you really singing songs and stuff?" And her mum's like, "Yeah." But straight away in the film, you pretty much put into the world that you're in, which is the 80s. It's very vibrant, very colourful, very
it's like the poster, very, isn't it? Just like the poster.
Yeah, like the poster. Lots of wonderful colour, lots of wonderful music. And it's the most awesomest love story you've ever heard. How did you enjoy it, Dave? Because you watched this one.
Yeah, do you know, I really liked it. So let's just set the scene. It starts off so I knew it was set in the 80s, so I got a bit confused at the start, because it basically starts with the daughter here, and Alicia Silverstone. Her daughter comes home from a club. She's had a bit of boy trouble, is about to go to bed, has to call her mum to come and pick her up from the club. And then her mum proceeds to tell her about this story, and I really liked the script, the way that it sort of, the daughter's like, "Come on, mum," as if I want to hear about your love story from 30 years ago. But then as it unfolds, then you think that then she's hooked and she wants to know more. What did confuse me is the daughter must be 20 odd. How has it gone 20 years before she's told her this story? But it was obviously the right time. But it starts off with that, like Scott said, that dance in the mall, where it's quite Clueless-esque actually, that bit, which I thought was quite a nice little tie-in with Alicia Silverstone there. It's very tongue-in-cheek. The daughter's asking, surely you weren't standing on fountains singing, and because that's, as an audience member, you're just thinking this is completely far-fetched and ridiculous, but that's the fun of it. It is really fun, and throughout the film it's just peppered with ridiculous modern day references about how, so at one point Jessica Roth's character says to her mum, who's played by Judy Greer, the great Judy Greer, in fact I've got a photo somewhere here with her mum and her dad, and her dad gets this, that's a good shot there actually, because her dad talks about getting this brand new VCR, and look at it, Peyton, look how small it is, and obviously in 2020 we're laughing at the giant size of his VCR recorder. And they at one point she doesn't come home, so she's like, well, Mum, it's not like I've got some fifth dimension portable device where you can call me at any given moment, sort of paying reference to mobile phones. And that's littered throughout the movie, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was very well written. What about you, Scott?
Yeah, it makes. I like the fact that it makes no bones about what it is. It's very 80s. It's very of its time. It's very tongue in cheek. It's very kitschy, I guess people would say, but it's really fun and really kind of joyous. And when I spoke to the guys, Josh and Jessica, a few weeks ago, last week, should I say, that they are having a little chat. They were very much of how much I love the characters and how much I love the musical, but also talked about how, in obviously the very strange, very sad times that we're in, that this is the kind of film that everyone could kind of do with right now. It's a very, very colourful, very upbeat, really kind of, the sort of film that you can sit down with the family and watch together and enjoy either the music or enjoy the relationships or enjoy the characters. And I think, as I say, given the circumstances that we're in, this is the kind of perfect movie for that, because you can almost switch your brain off in the best way and just transport yourself into that world and just enjoy what it has to offer. Yes, it's a bit cheesy, and yes, it's a bit, like you said, it's a bit tongue in cheek, but that's kind of the beauty of it. Is that they don't hide away. This is the film we're going to make.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They don't hide away from that, do they, at all? It's
there's no shying away from it. It's like, this is the thing we're going to make. It's very almost reminded me of like a big long episode of Glee. It's that kind of, the lip syncing's not great, but it's not really supposed to be, because it's almost, you have to remember, it's told from her memory, so it's kind of supposed to be a little bit almost dreamlike in a way, even though that's the thing as well. You don't know if it's real or not. She could just be sitting there making this up to kind of calm her daughter down after this terrible breakup. So it's almost got that dreamlike quality to it, which I liked. And the cast are really good. Obviously, the two leads. I really like Jessica Rothe anyway, because I'm a big fan of Happy Death Day, and she was one of Emma Stone's flatmates in La La Land. And there's also you spoke about Alicia Silverstone and Judy Greer. There's also my Whitman, who's fantastic in it as well. And and I think Chloe Bennett's in it from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there's a really cool
Logan Paul, big famous YouTuber. So he plays their boyfriend.
Probably shouldn't mention him, but
Yeah, I wondered when this was made. Because I was surprised he was cast, but
I think this was pre what happened, but that's.
I had a look on his YouTube. He's still got 21 million subscribers, so
it's funny how you get success, but then you do something bad, but you get more success. It's kind of strange. But yeah, a really good ensemble, and it's as you say, it's very joyful and very happy, and at this particular moment in our history in 2020. That's the perfect kind of antidote to it, and will kind of give you some escapism for an hour and a half, which is not to be sniffed at.
It does. It talks about real issues as well. So there's people dealing with sexuality in there, and it's very clever again the way that it goes with 1980s themes, but it addresses them in a 2020 way. So like I said, the sexuality, about women's empowerment, and how they don't have to rely on their husbands. They can go out and get just as good a job as men can, and if not better, and pursuing your dreams and not necessarily following the crowd. And that's sort of how the film begins, isn't it, with her mates who are all like, well, I just want to get married and have babies, and Jessica Roth's character is just about, well, surely there's more to life than that. So I really like the themes. I thought it was really a really, like I said earlier, it's really well scripted, really well written, and really well performed. And the songs are just fun, like you said earlier. I mean, they're completely ridiculous. I think there's a lot of we see. So that it's a bit like Trolls World Tour. It depends on what music you want. You've got the bad boys of rock, so as you can see them there, and girls, and versus the sort of as I just showed this image a moment ago. This sort of very bright, vibrant Glee-esque is the pop side of things, like it is in Trolls World Tour. So yeah. But overall, I thought it was great. I know loads of people who's going to love this film, and I thought it was going to Netflix, but it's on VOD, isn't it? It's for Orion MGM release. It was nice to see the original Orion logo that came up right at the beginning of the film. Yeah,
Orion of Terminator and RoboCop and other fame from the 80s. Ironically, from the 80s, it's quite a good mix. But you're right. I think what you said about the script is very good. Yeah, it talks about modern issues. The 80s is always a really good framework for it seems to be very good at you've been able to transport everybody back to the 80s, but also bring all of these things from modern day into it, and kind of give it a really cool spin. And like you said, and Stranger Things does that really well as well. So I think that's always the 80s seems to be a good platform and a good transport for for all that other stuff, but you can still keep kind of a modern spin on it and talk about modern issues. But they're issues that have been talked about for many years. So. But yeah, I think it's on Amazon Prime. I think it's going on maybe Sky Cinema to iTunes and all that kind of stuff. It might go on Netflix one day, but I think because it's MGM,
I hope it does. I think it's a good
I think also because it was scheduled for a theatrical release, I think that's why it's just going on those VOD platforms maybe first, and then we might see it on Netflix or on Amazon Prime for as part of the Prime package that you
further down the line.
In a couple of months. But definitely
I did like just pointing out on the poster here on the Nick Cage original Valley Girl, it says at the top there introducing Nicolas Cage. So I had a look on his IMDb. So this is the first he did a TV movie before this called Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982, and he did a TV movie called Best of Times in 1981, but both of those are credited with Nicolas Coppola, and then he changed his stage name to Nicolas Cage for this in 1983. So yeah, I thought it was a little fun fact. And Nicolas, who'd have thought Nicolas Cage doing Valley Girl in 1983, and look at him now.
Well, he was in Fast Times, wasn't he? I remember that. He's in Fast Times at Richmond High. I remember now. He's in Fast Times at Richmond High. I can't remember who he plays, though. But yeah, I remember him being in it. Yeah, this was
he plays Brad's bud.
Yeah,
but literally credited as Brad's bud.
Because he went on. Yeah, he did this, and he did a couple of Coppola films, didn't he?
After this was Rumblefish on the same year. Then he did Racing with
Cotton
the Moon,
Club.
Cotton Club. Good knowledge.
Yeah, there's
Birdie.
a couple of ones. Yeah.
The first film
he did Birdie.
Raising Arizona was 87. So
because he did that. He did that and Moonstruck.
Moonstruck 87 as well.
Yeah, and he did what was the other? He did Peggy Sue Got Married.
That again 86. So he had a
he had a few with Coppola, didn't he? Is that his uncle?
Yeah. What did he win his Oscar for? That was
Leaving Las
Honeymoon
Vegas.
in Vegas, wasn't it? Leaving Las Vegas. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, a fun fact about Nicolas Cage: his best friend is in Peggy Sue Got Married with him, or one of his best friends is in Peggy Sue Got Married with him. That's where they met. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
It's Jim Carrey.
Really?
Jim Carrey's in Peggy Sue Got Married. If you Google it, there's a good cast. Actually, I think Helen Hunt's in Peggy Sue Got Married as well, with Kathleen Turner and a few other famous people before they were married. But yeah, that's where he became friends with Jim Carrey, because they've been friends for obviously for decades. So yeah, there's a very young Jim Carrey and a very young Nicolas Cage and a very young Helen Hunt.
I must have seen that, but I don't know when. I'll dig it out. I don't think I must have seen it at some point, but I'll have to dig it out and watch it again. So there we go. So that's our review of Valley Girl. So do let us know what you think in the comments below if and when you see the movie. Do like and subscribe using the subscribe link. Where is it? Over that way. And let us know in the comments what you thought of this movie. And we will be back again at some point very soon with another review here on Hey You Guys. So take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey